Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from news up at Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okanse. Tonight, it's been a busy first day at work for the new John Dramani Mahama-led government. But unfortunately, the chief executives of the district, municipal and metropolitan assemblies, they were the first to be fired. We seek the understanding of exactly how the succession plan will play out here on Ghana Tonight. Stay with us. While it's still here on the old Election Command Center, the new government has also been busy brainstorming and engaging key stakeholders in the energy sector on how to deal with the power outages plunging parts of the country in darkness. We have details for you, including how we got here. This erratic power situation that has been experienced over the last almost 24 hours now. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, the Ablekuma North constituency recollation exercise has been suspended again, leaving the constituency without a representation in the 9th Parliament. We'll tell you why and what exactly is the way forward. There was chaos at that Electoral Commission, that's a Greater Accra region, that's a recollation center. Will tell you exactly what led to the returning officer for that particular constituency indicating that the original pin sheet that he had, there was no rejected ballot, but the soft copy that the NPP also provided had some rejected ballots also on them. We'll tell you exactly what the next step is on this. Stay with us. We have more, including the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools. They are demanding for funds for senior high schools and urging parents to add food, more food to their children's package when they are bringing them to school. Because there's no food in the schools to feed them. That's according to the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools. But as always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Books.
President John Dramani Mahama has expressed shock over the severity of the looming power crisis bequeathed to him by the immediate past NPP government. On his first day in office, the president has issued strict instructions and given clear guidelines on how he intends to reverse the current problem.
If we don't fix the electricity company of Ghana, we will continue to have a major problem with our whole power value chain. And so going ahead with privatizing the last point of distribution of electricity to bring in private sector efficiency is something that we want to take up again.
The Electoral Commission has suspended the recollation of pink sheets for the disputed Ablekuma North parliamentary results. Prior to the suspension, tensions flared during the collation exercise as agents from the National Democratic Congress (NDC) and the New Patriotic Party (NPP) clashed over the authenticity of pink sheets.
We expect all of us to be law-abiding, but it is so unfortunate. We all experience insults, threats, and all that, but everybody has been silent. But we will be quiet and be law-abiding and see what the EC will do.
We are expecting 7 POs. They brought in 5. We also digged and we brought in 1 PO. EC, Dr. Sribro is telling us he will not accept our one PO. They will only work with the 5 the EC brought that they coached from head office.
Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Emmanuel Ni Ashimo, has urged the police not to hesitate to arrest party supporters who besiege state institutions due to the change of government. Ashimo's call follows a number of state institution takeovers by party foot soldiers on Wednesday, January 8.
Arrests will be made from this afternoon to make sure that anybody who goes to any government warehouse, any government establishment, anybody who goes to any ministry or airport or the harbour will be arrested. So they should coordinate with us.
The fleet of electronic buses commissioned by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former Vice President, on November 27, 2024, is yet to be fully operationalized, raising concerns among Ghanaians about the government's commitment to addressing public transportation challenges.
After we have the election, from Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the car is on the street anymore. So I have the car here. The car have no use. We want to close from where it's very hard to get car. So we thought maybe it will help us when we close, when we are coming in. It was very comfortable. I enjoy the car here.
What happened to Ayalolo and now this e-bus? These two, when you draw the line, how do you differentiate the two? So we don't have to bring implementations that are existing. Instead of to upgrade them, then we'll leave them, dump them, and go and create another one. So you will see more efficiency.
Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland has commended Ghana for the peaceful transition of power as President John Dramani Mahama takes over power from former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. She said Ghana's exemplary process is crucial to democratic governance, especially in Africa.
Smooth, peaceful, a real demonstration of democracy at work. I think it was a moment of great pride for us in the Commonwealth, but an even greater moment of pride for all Ghanaians.
Ghana's inflation rate has risen to 23.8% in December 2024, up from 23% in November, according to data from the Ghana Statistical Service (GSS). The increase is attributed to the rising prices of food items, particularly vegetables, tubers, and plantains.
We've seen for the fourth consecutive time an increase in overall year-on-year inflation, increasing from 20.4%. and consistently for the fourth time has inched up to 23.8%. It's the third highest in the last 13 months when it peaked to 25.8% in March 2024, declined marginally to 25.0%, and the rate of inflation for December 2024, which stood at 23.8%, is the third highest in the last 13 months and the highest in the last 8 months.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up, yet another unsuccessful attempt at recollating the embattled Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary results. We've been at the Electoral Commission, that's the Greater Accra Regional Office, all day. We have the rundown and the exact detail for you. The chaos you're seeing on the screen right now is what has characterized this process since the decision to have the Ablekuma North constituency election results recollated. The Electoral Commission eventually suspended the recollation of the pink sheets for the disputed Ablekuma North parliamentary results. Now, prior to the suspension, tensions flared during the collation exercise as agents from both the NDC and the NPP clashed over the authenticity of pink sheets. I'm going to show you the exact picture of how chaotic this particular situation was earlier today, and that led to the returning officer for that particular constituency being whisked away by the Ghana Police Service in a police saloon vehicle after he had indicated that he couldn't authenticate the details of one pink sheet that the NPP had presented. That's the soft copies of that pink sheet that had some rejected ballots as against what he said that he had authenticated on the day of elections that had no rejected ballots. But this is what the Director of Training for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo Kweko, said to journalists after the decision to suspend the recollation exercise again today. Take a look.
That is the story. But I say that it's unfortunate because I want people who can stand by their work. This work was done less than a month now. Once you see your handwriting, you see your figures, nobody is putting a gun on your head. Tell the truth, and the truth will stand the test of time. So if this is what you said, we cannot force him to accept everything. But at least all of you heard that. For the vote for the candidates, they are correct. But that of the rejected ballot is what he is contesting. We will go back. The other guy said that he can also not deny or affirm. We will give ourselves time. There's another person who's a lady. He said that even if we bring Caterpillar, he will not come back because of what they have gone through. And my sadness is that if we are doing this to our own people, 2024 is not the only time we'll have election. We will have election in 2028. Are we sure that we will have dedicated people to come and serve Mother Ghana? Truth will always be the truth. Even the returning officer himself is saying that he will not come back again. So let's solve that problem. Like I said in the morning, I personally never knew any of them till I met them here. I never knew them. So the lady I'm talking about, I don't know her. So how can I go and compare somebody I've never met before?
She was employed.
So the return officer who recruited and trained them. So he's the one we can use. But if he himself is giving up, then where are we? If you force him here and he comes and says that I can neither confirm nor deny them, what will we do? So the person should come on his own volition that I'm coming to speak the truth. Then he comes.
Well, there you have it. That's Dr. Sribo Kweko. So there were 7 presiding officers that were supposed to have come to this Recollection Center. 5 of them were present. The other 2, it's a lady who said, according to Dr. Sribo Kweko, she's not going to come, even if they bring a Caterpillar to her house to come and take her to the place. Now, they're faced with a situation which then earlier today led to a brawl as a result of some controversy over the authenticity of a pink sheet. Some pink sheets that were supposed to be authenticated today for the Ablekuma North constituency. Now, this is the chaos that happened earlier today. Just a bit of it. Take a look.
The argument is on again, trying to find out what has led to this other argument. They are questioning the authentication of this man seated here, who is exactly.
They've targeted the wrong meat. You've targeted the wrong meat. You can go for down. Go for down. Are you a police officer? Why are you here? Go for down. You can't be outside there.
Well, so that's what just a sneak peek into that chaos that happened at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission earlier today. That's where the recollection of the Ablekuma North constituency, that's 62 polling station results is taking place. We understand they were supposed to authenticate 20 polling station results today. That process was truncated earlier because of this incident of the chaos that we saw. And then also the returning officer for that constituency indicating that, look, he's done, and that the Electoral Commission should go and look for another officer to come and do the job. Now, all of this is playing out at a time when the Ablekuma North constituency does not have a representation in this 9th Parliament. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. He's joining us on Zoom. Dr. Rashid Tanko, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Hello? We'll try to connect to him. But earlier we spoke to Evans Nimakon, who is the Director of Elections for the NPP. And this is what he had to say.
We'll follow through after the Gazette. And so that's what we are doing. We expect all of us to be law-abiding. But it is so unfortunate. We all experience insults, threats, and all that. But everybody has been silent. But will be quiet and be law-abiding and see what the EC will do. We hope that today we will have conclusion to the issue pending in Ablekuma North.
Right, so that's Evans and Marco there, but let's try and connect with Dr. Arsi Tanko Computer again. Dr. Tanko, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, Alfred, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Alfred?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, here is a bit noisy, but I can hear you.
Okay, so what I want to find out from you is, you told your officers not to take part in this entire recollation exercise. Yet, yesterday, in fact, the day before and today, we have seen... Hello? Dr. Tanko, can you hear me?
Hello? Alfred,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm saying that you instructed your officers not to be part of this recollation exercise, but we've seen them all throughout the period that this recollation exercise for Ablekuma North has been taking place. What's going on?
Well, Alfred, like I earlier told you, we as a party, the NDC, does not recognize whatever they are doing over there. It was total illegality, and we have been vindicated. They went and manufactured their own pink sheets, cooked their own figures, and came to use it to force it on the people. Unfortunately for them, one of the presiding officers exposed them big time. Well, already we are against what they are doing. We are going to make sure that we follow through the law, the due process in the law courts, and retrieve all the seats that they have declared for these people. These declared seats for them are totally in disarray in the sense that they did not follow the due process. And what they have done there, we are not going to respect it as a party. The NDC will not respect it. And I'm assuring the people of Ablekuma North, the people of Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Techima South, that we will come after them one after the other. And we are going to use all legal means possible within our mandate as a political party to retrieve those seats back to the NDC.
Well, I was saying that earlier you had indicated that your officers should not even be present to be part of this process, but we saw them there today. Has there been a change in instructions to them?
Fred, what happened is that our men who went there did not know, they were not in the known that we had filed a process at the High Court to set aside the ruling of the High Court judge. In fact, it was a total travesty of justice. They were not aware. Alfred, did you see our candidate there? Did you see national officers or regional officers there? Because the constituency officers, they were not in the court, so they were not aware. That's why they went there. That doesn't absolve the Electoral Commission and their collaborators, which is the MPP, to get away with the illegality that they are engaged in. We are going through the law process. We are law-abiding political party, and we will make sure that the right things are done.
But while you're at it, the Electoral Commission is going ahead with the process, despite this particular position that you have taken. It's just one pink sheet, we understand, that had issues because the returning officer for the constituency said the result on the original one that he signed had no rejected ballots. The NPP's soft copy had rejected ballots, and so he said he could not authenticate that. The process is ongoing, so what are you going to do about it?
Well, Alfred, clearly, when we are going to talk about these pink sheets for the Ablekuma North, in fact, it should be thrown to the dustbin, because we are not going to agree to anything coming from the MPP without their scan copying. Alfred, I can sit behind my laptop and design a pink sheet and put figures on it. Why should the Electoral Commission listen to the MPP? Why should you? Just because they think that the NDC has gone to court and because we're not properly represented, they can just get away and do everything they want to do. We're not going to agree that. We don't do electronic transmission of resources in Ghana. We don't do electronic voting. And so we don't accept anything electronic in terms of collecting resource. When has the Electoral Commission started doing that? They should tell us which part of the CI mandate them to use electronic scan copies to collect results. We are not going to accept it. They should stop that thing. The Electoral Commission is fast becoming a very lawless institution. And they must watch it. We are not going to allow this. This is one area that we are going to start our reset. We have to reset the commission very well so that we'll bring sanity into the commission. We can continue this kind of path.
But so when is the court's case due to be heard? This one that you keep making reference to?
Alfred said.
Hello?
Can I hear you, Alfred?
I was asking when the court is going to hear the case that you have filed against Ablekuma North, Tema Central, and the Kaikwe Central. That's the declarations by the Electoral Commission, because the MPs for Kaikwe Central, Tema Central, Techiman South have been sworn in as MPs in this 9th Parliament.
Alfred, whether they were sworn in or not is immaterial. They can swear them in even today, and tomorrow they will be removed from Parliament. Alfred, you remember what happened in Wulensi constituency in 2020? That's 2002. You remember Asin North, our MPs were removed from Parliament after they've gone through all the legal process. So those sworn in, their one leg is in Parliament and their other leg is outside Parliament, because we will make sure that we'll use all legal means possible within our mandate to get them out from Parliament. They are illegal people. They have used crooked means to get them sworn into Parliament, and we are not going to allow it. So we will go through the legal process. We have confidence in our lawyers. Ejujita Makulo, who is leading our legal team, they will make justice to this matter, and justice will be served to Ablekuma North, Tema Central, Techima South, and Okaikwe Central. Justice will be served to them, and they will get the right representation in Parliament.
Well, we'll see. And we understand that this case is going to be heard on the 13th of January. Confirm this for me. On the 13th of January, the case will be called.
Yes, that's it. That's it. You are right.
Okay. Dr. Asitanko Computer is Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC there, but we'll keep an eye on how things are playing out. Earlier today, the presiding officer for the Ablekuma North constituency, one Vincent Obing, he indicated that he is not going to be part of the process going forward because he's done with his job, and out of frustration, and indicating that there's some details of a pink sheet that he could not authenticate. This is what happened. Take a look.
I can say on authority that this one, this pink sheet.
So the pink sheet is holding.
The original pink sheet.
He has confirmed his original pink sheet.
This is the pink sheet that I do. This is the pink sheet I brought to Mr. Ben last Saturday when we finished with the election. I was able to finish on time. There is chaos at Pashaman School, so quickly around home because of the chaos. So around home. But before I went home, I've already submitted my pink sheet. And when I came here, I have 3 pink sheets. These 3 pink sheets. These 2, this white one and the scan one, I don't know them. What I know is this one. So based on the original scan sheet, this is the confirmed figures I and my people did. So my people in the house, if they are watching me, they can confirm it with me that I am not lying or I'm not telling the lies. They can come and screen it or show it so that they see the figures. So parliamentary elections. Nana Ekuya Owusu-Free MPP had 118. Rabina Oben NDC had 103. Rejected. Total. All right. The figures here are correct, but as for us, we didn't have get any rejected ballot. But I can see a rejected listing here. So that one they can't confirm it.
So,
we didn't have any rejected ballot paper on that day. You see?
you see God.
My police station, we didn't have any rejected ballot paper. So if there is rejected, it means that it is forged or...
God! Hey, God is a living God. God is a living God.
Well, so there you have it. That's Vincent Obing, the officer for the presiding officer for the Ablekuma North constituency, one of the polling stations there. He says, per the pink sheets that he signed on that day, it did not have any rejected ballots on there. But from the records and the report that my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe, who was there, brought, the NPP submitted a pink sheet that had rejected ballots recorded for that polling station. And he said he cannot authenticate that because that's contrary to what he signed on that particular day, the original pink sheet. So that's the issue right now at hand for the Ablekuma North conference. We'll see how things play out, and we'll keep an eye on this one in the coming days here on your election command center. But coming up next, the district, municipal, and metropolitan assemblies across the country are effectively without chief executives until new ones are appointed. What does this mean for local governance going forward? That's a conversation we're going to have tonight here on Ghana Tonight, as always. And on this matter, right now, we'll have a local government expert also joining us with his thoughts on this. Well, earlier today, we got information John Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, has relieved all metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives of their position pending substantive appointments. Now, a letter by the Executive Secretary to the Director of Local Government, in fact, also indicated that these MMDCEs are to hand over to their coordinating directors effective today. I'm going to put a portion of that letter on the screen right now, and I'm going to walk you through it every step of the way and the details of it. And this is it. It says, based on in accordance with the powers vested in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama under the provisions of the Local Government Act 2016, Act 936, as amended by the Local Governance Amendment Act 2017, Act 940, the following appointments have been revoked effective today. We have one, the chief executives of metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, assembly members appointed pursuant to the relevant sections of the Act. And in the interim, the respective coordinating directors of the various MMDs are directed to assume responsibility as acting chief executives until substantive appointments are duly made. That's the information on the screen right now, and that has also generated some conversation. Essentially, what's happening is that the coordinators are acting instead of the MMDCs per this letter and this communication today. Now, I want you to take a look, because this decision affects two categories of persons. That's the MMDCs, who were appointed by the former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and then also the assembly members who were appointed and not elected. So essentially, those who are serving now at the assemblies are those who were elected during the district assembly elections. Now, if you look at the composition of district assembly, section 5.1 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, as amended, a district assembly shall consist of the following members: the DCE, so in effect, this letter, per the decision, the DCEs have been sacked. 2, one person from each electoral area within the district elected by universal adult suffrage. That's during the district assembly election. So these persons in this category have not been affected by this communication from the presidency. C, the member or members of parliament from the constituencies that fall within the area of authority of the district assembly. This category of persons have also not been affected by the communication today. Other members that shall not exceed 30% of the total membership of the District Assembly appointed by the President in consultation with the traditional authorities and other interest groups in the district. So this category of persons have also been affected by this communication today. So the category A and D persons under this particular section 5.1 of the Local Government Act 2016, Act 9336, have been affected by the communication from the presidency today. That's the MMDCEs appointed by the president, and in this case, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and also this category D, other members that shall not exceed 30% of the total membership of the district assemblies appointed by the president in consultation with the traditional authorities and other interest groups in the district. And in this case, all the category of persons in this place who were appointed by the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, have been affected by this directive. Now, let's go onto Zoom right now. And Dr. Richard Fiadomo is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance, is joining us right now. Dr. Fiadomo, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, and good evening for your cherished viewers. Happy New Year.
I think it's just a matter of perspective, is it not, that many have also made reference to what the late John Evans Atta-Mills decided to do, to have the MMDCs stay a bit longer than what we have seen in all the instances with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and then also even John Agyekum Kufuor. They stayed quite a while until they were sacked. It's just a matter of prerogative on the part of the president-elect, and in this case, the president of the Republic of Ghana, is it not?
Yeah, it is that. And if you look at 9.3 or at 9.4 as amended, it gives 4 ways by which MMDCs can either remove or keep their position. Number one, for the president exercise prerogative to remove them off. Number 2, MMDC may choose to sign him as. Number 3, a judge as said by test jury can cast vote no comments, move an MD. And number 4, should avoid joint where the MDs have to pass. So clearly, we also have been during the time of His Excellency John Atta-Mills, may he rest in perfect peace, where he allowed the appointees of His Excellency John Kufuor for them to be in office for some time. But what did we see during the Nana Addo Dankwa regime? We realized that apart from the MMDCs who were removed with speed and alacrity, we also had a situation where today, as we talk now, we have Act 940 as amended. Why? Because the Nana Addo Dankwa administration, when immediately they went to Parliament, I want to use the word of emergency to get the government appointees who have been appointed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama then removed, because the Act 936 government appointees had a security tenure. But Nana Addo's administration they have to remove them and also bring their own people. So yes, they went to Parliament and got 936 amended, for which reason 940 was submitted today. And they removed the government. So you see now that John Dramani to remove the very point from. So yeah, like you said, it's an issue of prerogative, and it will not affect the assembly in any way until new MMDCs are nominated and confirm respective MMDAs.
Again, what is your own thinking and understanding of that decision now to have the coordinators hold the fort until the substantive MMDCs are appointed? How's that going to work?
Technically speaking, that aspect of the directive, if you ask, it's an outright reality. Because
it's an outright what? Illegality?
Yes.
Why is that?
MMD coordinating directors cannot ask to act as MMDCs. You see, when it comes to the MMDCs, we do not have people acting as MMDC. What normally happens is that the president will nominate somebody to the assembly. So when the president nominates, it is now the reserve for the assembly and indeed the general assembly to call a general assembly meeting by the presiding member. And then they will put it to a vote by two-thirds majority. Should the nominee 75% of the votes from assembly members present and voting, that person is confirmed. If you remember, in 2021, immediately His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa-Addo won against them. The very same MMC that he himself appointed, whose tenure of office was not yet up, in January he revoked all them their appointment and made a U-turn to ask them to be in acting position. This matter went to court, I think Honorable Roxin Dafiameko, and the Supreme Court ruled that you cannot have MMDCs in incapacity. And so the decision that the president took then was an illegality. So if that one was an illegality, then obviously you cannot also have coordinating directors, and it is equal an illegality. The reason why you cannot have coordinating directors to act as MMDCs is that the MMDCs are the approving authority, approving officers. And then the coordinating directors are spending officers. So per this directive, what the president has technically done is to give the power to approve and send to one pen, which is a recipe for corruption. So for me, I think that it's an oversight, and in the coming days, the presidency will look at it and reverse that particular aspect where they are asking coordinating directors to act as MDCs. It's an illegality. Supreme Court ruled on this matter. There's no going back on it. So clearly, I think it was a mistake or an oversight and should not be allowed to stand. Coordinating directors cannot act as MDCs. The sense have so the General Assemblies where the parliaments are here are so there, and the directors secretary to the General Assembly. So you are having a situation whereby you are making secretary to the General Assembly, now the person who is supposed to be running the assembly on a day-to-day basis, and now on hot capacity, who goes to General Assembly to report if there's a General Assembly meeting today? Is the coordinating director going to sit as a chief executive at the same time as the coordinating director? I strongly believe this was an oversight. It should be corrected immediately because it's an illegality, and coordinating director cannot act as MMDCs under any circumstance.
And it's because of the various powers that you made mention of, to the extent that they are not spending officers and so on. Can they actually act without these powers necessarily being exercised to that extent?
You see, what happens is that the coordinating directors, they are the administrative heads of the assembly. Their powers are cut out for them. What it also means is that the coordinating director is a spending officer. As we speak, the budget for all the MMDAs for 2025 has already been passed. Some of the activities of MMDAs have been already approved. So spending will go in the sense of MMDAs. What it means that the sense of MMDAs, you can't engage in any new contract or capital project expenditure in that. That ability attack. So if you now ask the ability attack as an MMDCE, then what it means is that they can go ahead and be approving projects to be done. And that one will not be allowed if you look at the PFM. So that is why I insist that apart from the fact that it's an illegality, I believe it was an oversight, and the presidency should come out and correct that aspect. If you get to see the letter that was written by the chief director of the Ministry of Local Government, the chief director rather made it clear and told the coordinating director they cannot be involved in any capital project. And once I be involved in capital project, then I cannot put to be the person who will be involved in a capital project. So I think somehow the coordinating chief director has corrected earlier is MMDs, so coordinating directors to act. So it is obvious that the separation of powers, the president cannot purport to give approving authority and spin authority to one and a person. It is a recipe for corruption.
We'll see how the coming days will look like on it. But I thank you very much for your thoughts. Dr. Rashid Fiadamo is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance here on Ghana Tonight. But let's move on to this rather critical issue as well. But before that, these are the circumstances under which the office of the DCE can be declared vacant. Let's take a look at this. Based on Section 24 of the Local Government Act 2016 at 936 as amended, the office of the District Chief Executive shall become vacant if, 1, a vote of no confidence supported by the vote of not less than 2/3 of all the members of the District Assembly is passed against the DCE. B, the District Chief Executive is removed by the office of the President. So this is what has happened today. It is this part of the law that has been exercised per the powers given to the President, John Dramani Mahama. He has asked the DCEs to step aside, removed, and the coordinating officers now acting in their stead. C, the District Chief Executive resigns or dies. So it's these three circumstances that the office of the District Chief Executive shall become vacant. We'll leave it at that. Now, coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, do you have power where you are? A number of you have already started sending us messages. Doomsaw in your area, some of you slept in darkness last night. You're not alone because, look, we were all there at some point. You may be interested in what is happening to the power supply situation in the country. We have the details right now for you here on Ghana Tonight, and that's one thing that we're keeping an eye on here and matters arising. And earlier today, President John Mahama expressed shock over the severity of the looming power supply as we speak, and by the immediate past NPP government. Now, on his first day in the office, the president issued strict instructions and giving clear guidelines on how he intends to deal with this matter and reverse the current problem. Also, he touched on how things are going to play out with ECG and the conversation of the privatization of the distribution part of our energy mix. That's the ECG. And he touched on PDS and how things played out, and the Millennium Challenge account and the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and how we lost this $190 million. This is what he had to say when the World Bank called on him today.
Most discussion with some firm committee.
The transition has taken place. It's been smooth, it's been cordial, but there are a few surprises that have come up in respect of the energy sector, in respect of, some aspects of government's decisions and things over the last several years. But I think that Ghana has the human resources to be able to deal with the situation and turn things around as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, democracy has its dividends, but it also sometimes can be a curse. We left government and a new government took over, and took over the Millennium Challenge Compact, mixed up the last segment of it, which was providing efficiency in distribution, billing, metering, and all that. And of course, PDS is history now. But we want to take a look at that again, because if we don't fix the Electricity Company of Ghana, we will continue to have a major problem with our whole power value chain. And so going ahead with privatizing the last point of distribution of electricity to bring in private sector efficiency is something that we want to take up again. We would like to speak with the World Bank to get the expertise to be able to do that. I spoke to the Americans during my last visit to the US. We met the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and we asked if it was possible for them to reinstate the $190 million that they had devoted to that aspect of it. And they said the door is not closed. And so we need to pursue that discussion.
Oh, so that's President John Dramani Mahama there, and talking about hitting the ground running to deal with this looming power crisis. In fact, a number of you have already started experiencing these outages as we speak, and we're seeing it down our stream on Facebook, TV3 Ghana. Some of you telling us that you don't have power in your homes as we speak. Well, guess what? There was a statement that was put out in fact, published across media platforms, detailing what could have accounted to what we're experiencing now. WAPCO, according to this statement, even though when we checked, this statement has been referenced by a number of persons in this administration, Felix Kwachio Fosu, and then also John Jinapor, the power supply outlook for the West African gas pipeline offshore picking from January 20 to February 16, 2025, and projections for 2025. The offshore pigeon, what they're talking about, we understand, is the maintenance of the pipeline by the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited. They sent a notification of their plan to conduct mandatory maintenance on the offshore West African gas pipeline to carry out cleaning exercise as a maintaining of that particular pipeline, conduct inspection and replacement of subsea valves scheduled for January 20 to February 16, 2025. Take note of the date, January 20, which is just some 12 days away from today, to February 16. And normally, when WAPCO is doing this cleaning exercises, they technically have to shut down because they cannot be operating the pipeline. Now, here's what we got to know afterwards as well. Beyond this, they had indicated that the maintenance was originally scheduled for October 2024, but had to be rescheduled at the request of the Ministry of Energy. The Ministry of Energy in this instance is the former Ministry of Energy, or the Ministry of Energy under the Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration. So this maintenance is going to lead to the shutdown of the West Africa gas pipeline between January 20 and February 16. Was supposed to have taken place in October 2024, but had to be rescheduled at the request of the former Ministry of Energy to this period of January 20 to February 16. And, well, this is what we put to Felix Kwachio Fosu as well, who is a spokesperson for John Mahama and a member of parliament for the Brasibu Kwamankese constituency. This is what he had to say on this.
There is a grave matter that needed to be addressed. First of all, government needed to be briefed, and then we needed to hear what exactly can be done in the circumstance. But in order that you have a full appreciation of what the issues are,
we'll recall that. But Nana Mwesi the seventh is Executive of the Institute for Energy Security, IES, one of the foremost CSOs we have in the energy sector. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Nana, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, help us appreciate the severity of this situation that we're dealing with right now.
Well, what we understand clearly is that WAPCO may undertake some cleaning exercise, and we got this indication from GRICO. We are yet to hear directly from WAPCO that by 20th of this month, they will seek to clean their pipeline and inspect some subsea valves that may require replacements, and that the exercise will involve pushing gas from Nigeria all the way to Takoradi, with the offtake points being closed, the laterals. And so it means that Benin, Togo, and Tema will not be fed with gas because the gas will be pushed in one direction all the way to Takoradi. If that happens, it leaves the plants in the Tema enclave, Asogli, Aksa, Sempower, Ontema plants, and the others, without natural gas supply. These plants, when you put all of them together, their capacity may amount to roughly 2,000 megawatts. And so if they are not going to work because of lack of natural gas, then of course they have to resort to alternative fuel, and that is the liquid fuels, because almost all these plants are dual fired, or they run on multiple fuels. But as we get indication, we have inadequate amount of liquid fuel in stock to take up that challenge when it falls due. And so we are compelled to look for ways to bring in the fuel. That is one. Or if the fuels don't come on time, then of course we have to contend with the little capacity, the generation capacity that we have in the Western Corridor and also in Kumasi, Awomaso. If you look at this capacity, they amount to somewhere around 2,800 megawatts. Alfred, our peak demand today as Ghanaians and the export markets hovers around 3,800 megawatts. And so if you have to contend just with the Western Corridor capacity and that of Awomaso, then there will be about 1,000 megawatts of power deficits to manage. And the way to manage is to shed load. If we only have to save the grid from blackout or brownout, then we have to share the load. And that is resulting directly into doomsday. And so this is the indication that we have. But as to what brought us here, it's quite, disturbing that government is a continuum. And if we knew very well that we deferred a program in October to January, and it's going to, take effect, then the common sense is to have enough of stock available to deal with any disruption in gas supply, whether by planned action or unplanned actions. But we failed to do that. Today, we may be forced to bring in emergency cargo. Alfred, emergency cargos are very expensive. That is one. And so there are costs associated with the current situation that we have. Mm-hmm. If we come in as emergency cargo, it's going to be expensive and we're going to pay more as a country.
It's going to be expensive and we're going to pay more. And when we understand Asogli also has no backup fuel, and that story is the same with a number of the IPPs as well. They do not have backup fuel as we speak, correct?
Asogli has no backup fuel as we have it today, but we know that it's just two plants that have it. HFO for AXA and SEM Power has some light crude oil in stock. But for how many days can this last? We expect that if they have to kick in this fuel and run full capacity, it may not last for more than 10 days. Meanwhile, to bring in a vessel today, if you're not fortunate to get one hovering around the Looming Triangle, and we have to go to Asia or Russia for one, it could take about 3 weeks before even the fastest nautical mile vessel can get to our shore. And when the vessel arrives, we have to undertake some inspection, measurements and all that before they offload. And when it's offloaded, we equally have to take some measurements and some other inspection. That will equally also take some days. And so we are racing against time here. The earlier we do it, the better. Maybe to avert this doomsday, we may have to engage WAPCO directly to see the possibility of postponing the program to another time to afford the government the room to bring in cargo and stock before the SIs come on. But then that equally could come with other risk, because the more you keep on deferring your plant maintenance, then you are putting the integrity of the infrastructure.
Right, but there was a point, there's a point that you made that another alternative is to appeal to WAPCO to postpone the scheduled maintenance. If what the GridCo is saying anything to go by, this plant maintenance has been already rescheduled from October to January. Is it best practice to do that?
Of plant maintenances are not things that are encouraged, in particular the power sector, because, for instance, Alfred, you have a car. If you keep on deferring maintenance on the car and you don't change your tire when they are worn out, and you want to risk using it for some extended time before you do same, you're putting yourself and the car in danger.
if you delay in maintaining your engine, postponing the changing of oil, then you're putting the integrity of your car also in danger. So it is not something that is encouraged, but sometimes it becomes critical that some adjustment is made. And if that to be made, we have to undertake some risk assessment of the decision to postpone. And if it's not so hurting, we can probably accept that. But it's not best practice to keep on deferring a plant maintenance. Every engineering system is designed in such a way that there must be a time to rest it and probably interrogate the parts and the integrity of the equipment and the whole infrastructure. Just to assure yourself of continuous use of the same infrastructure, and also to save life and save businesses. And so postponement of or deferment of plant maintenances are not to be encouraged.
Right.
Except in critical time.
I do appreciate your time, and the point was made there here on Ghana Tonight. A number of persons have been waiting to this particular issue. We're going to go for this quick break. When we're back, Bright Simmons, the Vice President of Imani Africa, has been writing on this. I'll bring you a bit of it. And some of you have also been sharing your thoughts with us. Stay with us. We're back shortly.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior
Where is the country with fixing the gas supply issues? Question. Why have the problems been prolonged? Another question. What solutions are favored by the new government? Also, more urgently, what are the security of supply arrangements for the emergency liquid fuels? Another question. Are there contracts really in place? With whom are these contracts even in place? Are there penalties for non-performance to protect national interests? And you hear that's Bright Simmons there asking these germane questions on this power situation that we're faced with. You hear Nana Mosi also talk about how expensive the alternative will be if we resort to these emergency fuels that Bright Simmons talks about. We put up a poll on Facebook and also on X, so make some time always. 3 hours before Ghana Tonight, here's what we do. We put out a conversation so that you as well out there can engage with us. Let your thoughts be heard. Question, who do you think should be blamed for this power outages we're experiencing now? Because the former Minister for Energy, Herbert Krampa, earlier today said, well, there has been a change of power. The NDC is in power now, so they should fix this power situation. Former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo also said that the SONA, that's a State of the Nation address, that he has handed over a nation that is working, and the energy sector has improved as against what he picked up in 2016. So this is the verdict of the people. 4,806 of you took part in this poll that we put out on TV3 Ghana. 80% of you say the former Akufo-Addo administration or government should be held responsible or be blamed for the power outages. 10% of you say the Mahama-led administration. 9% of you say both of them should be held accountable for this. But earlier, you also heard Phyllis Kwachufosu talk about the fact that President John Mahama is up for the task and is hitting the ground running on this matter. So we will see. There's a committee that has actually been put in place to deal with this. And John Jinapo, who heads that particular committee of energy and natural resources, also spoke at this meeting earlier today. Just give you an idea of how serious the situation is. This is what John Jinapo said. Take a look.
1.5 days of fuel stock. AXA has 6 hours of fuel stock. That is where we are. So touch wood, assuming today you don't have gas, it means that we automatically run into load shedding. But more importantly, if the pigging exercise goes according to schedule, it means that we have an issue on hand. So that is the situation on hand. This exercise was supposed to have been taking place in October 2024. Government then requested that it should be shifted to 20th January 2025 to enable them to procure adequate fuel. At our last meeting of the Joint Transition Committee, it came to light that that fuel has not been procured. I personally raised that, and the then Minister of Energy assured that they are putting a requisition to Ministry of Finance. The Minister of Finance then assured that he will fast-track the process and get at least that parcel of light crude oil for us. Yesterday, just when we were assuming office, we checked from Gridco, and it turned out that that order had not been placed, that fuel has not been procured.
John Jinapo there, is a member of parliament for the Yape Kusol constituency, heading this Energy and Natural Resource Committee for the President John Dramani Mahama. But a number of you have been commenting on this. Let's just take a few comments from you. Denta Mayor says, I feel the heat. Or he says he's been feeling the heat since yesterday evening till 10 a.m. this morning. Denta Frafraha, that's your location. And this one here from Bill Gates Jr. says, not last 24 hours, but last 2 weeks in Ashanti region of Boase precisely. Not even a full day or a full time watching the sonar and the inauguration ceremony. Ifijako Abre South, the lights are on. This one says it's always on, Kalito. It's not different from what we have been experiencing throughout last year. Goes off for 6 to 12 hours. Every 3 to 4 days. It went off yesterday between 8 p.m. and came up back this morning. Praying and hoping His Excellency John Mahama will fix it as he has done before leaving power in 2016. Bridget sent that one. This one says, yes, Kaswa, you have lights. Okay. Jumako Enyane Siam. Lights is on. No doom sort. That's Dr. Kesla to Forson's constituency. Papani says, on and off, it's a pity that such a situation looks cooked for the new administration. You say, thank you. Well, on behalf of the rest of the team, we want to appreciate your company as always. Let the conversation continue on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Join the New Day team tomorrow morning on TV3 and also the Sunrise team on 3FM 92.7. My name is Alfred Okanse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.